everyone, hello and welcome to the Sidereal Insights Astro Update for November 19th, 2018. I'm 𝘱𝘀𝗍𝗔𝗔. I'm the astrologer and artist of Mystic Physick Astrology, and I use Western sidereal astrology in my practice and in these broadcasts. My practice, I focus specifically on helping you reconnect with your soul purpose and remember why you came into this world to begin with. And my aim is always really to provide guidance on how we can consciously use the energy of the transiting planets to affect our lives in a positive way. And so welcome to Sidereal Insights. Every 2 weeks, what we do is we explore the astrology of the current planetary transits across the heavens from a Western sidereal perspective. And if you need to look up your sidereal sign placements, you can do that online. There's a calculator. I will actually copy and paste this link into the comments here on the broadcast because it's not in the video description. I can add it to the video description a little bit later on. But let me navigate to the right place so that I can give you the video link if you need it. Here we go. So you can look up your sidereal sign placements right there. And I'm going to pull up the broadcast in my browser in case there are comments or questions. That way I can address your questions directly on the video. So let's talk a little bit about what the current transits are and then what's coming up between now and the end of November. Please like and share the broadcast. Tag a friend if you know someone who might get benefit out of what we're talking about today. And you can follow Mystic Physick on Facebook. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And that way you won't ever miss a video. But for right now, to kind of recap what we have, just kind of major transits and themes that have been going on for some time. We have Neptune still retrograde in sidereal Aquarius. Now that's only for a little while longer. He's going to go direct later this month. And then we have Uranus in sidereal Aries going direct on January 7th. So very early in the coming year. Venus has also gone direct just a few days ago on the 16th. She's stationed. And now we have Mercury retrograde. So still a bit of a mix between direct and retrograde planets, but that's going to change at the beginning of next year. Right now, we also have the sun just entering sidereal Scorpio a couple of days ago, and he'll be in sidereal Scorpio through December 16th. Mercury is about to come back in bounds. He's been out of bounds since November 2nd. That's good news in terms of his retrograde. We won't have Mercury's out of bounds behavior complicating his retrograde any longer once he comes back in bounds. So that's some good news. But we do still have Mercury retrograde right now in sidereal Scorpio, and we will have that transit going on through December 6th. Now, you can get a copy of the Mercury Retrograde Survival Guide for general guidance and some specific tips on how you can use Mercury retrograde in alignment with the house that Scorpio falls in your sidereal natal chart. If you use tropical astrology, or if you like to use both, the same guide will also work if you use a tropical zodiac. And so especially if you normally don't look forward to Mercury retrograde, if you feel like it's a time when just, Murphy's Law applies and what can go wrong will go wrong, and that's just the way that has to be, then I would definitely recommend read the guide. It will help you understand what critical actions are important to avoid during Mercury retrograde cycles, and it will also go into what you can do to protect yourself from the types of things that can come up during a Mercury retrograde. And I'll go into how to turn a retrograde around and kind of make it work for you rather than against you. And so the idea is it just walks you through some advanced preparation, gives you a few basic precautions to keep in mind as you progress through any Mercury retrograde cycle. And then with those things, you can align your actions and your intentions with whatever Mercury's retrograde plans are for you anyway. And that way you can kind of take charge of your retrograde experience. And I definitely recommend these practices. I've included strategies for what you can do if you can't avoid taking certain actions during a Mercury retrograde cycle. and I've included specific strategies for how you can use the retrograde to your advantage house by house. So you will refer back to this guide about 3 to 4 times a year, every time Mercury goes retrograde. And I will tell you right here on the broadcast when that is, what sign Mercury will be in. Right now, he's going to be in Scorpio. And that way you can easily identify what house in your sidereal natal chart or your tropical natal chart, if you're a tropical user. But I'll be notifying you what sign he's in sidereally, right? But I'll let you know here on the broadcast. That way you can look up on your natal chart where he will be retrograding, and you can apply the recommendations for that house during your Mercury retrograde experience, which lasts about 3 weeks or so, not including the shadow. But that guide is available at the website. And I'm going to copy a link for you as well for that, just because I don't have like a super easy shortened link handy. And I know I made one. I just don't remember what it is. I know it's really silly. But you can get this guide to help you kind of navigate the Mercury retrograde cycle that we're going through now through early December. Now, one thing that you'll want to have your sidereal natal chart handy for right now is to check it and see if you have a planet or personal point, so like a north or south node, your ascendant or midheaven, part of fortune, any type of personal point or planet near 5 degrees of Cancer. You're going to watch, if you do, for possible eclipse news to happen, to arrive for you here within the next couple of days to a week. Basically, you're looking at the days right around November 22nd, and that is when the sun is going to transit 5 degrees of Scorpio. 5 degrees is the same degree as January's eclipse, and that will activate the eclipse for you if you have something in contact with that 5 degree Scorpio point, or with the eclipse point, or excuse me, with the eclipse point. It'll activate it for you when the sun hits 5 Scorpio. And so that's coming up on the 22nd when the sun will make that transit. Okay, and that's activating the January 21st lunar eclipse in Cancer, in sidereal Cancer. And we'll talk more about January and February's upcoming eclipse series later on. I'll do a special broadcast just about those upcoming eclipses, but this is what's going on here in the near future. So watch November 22nd, take a look at your chart, and make note of whether or not any news arrives for you. We have the full moon in Taurus coming up. Venus is going to be back in direct motion well in time for the full moon in Taurus, which is happy news. It's a well-supported full moon, so if you have any unfinished projects that you need to wrap up right now, do that. There's a real strong likelihood of unexpected benefits or innovative or unusual outcomes around whatever you're wrapping up or launching with this full moon in Taurus. So tides could turn in your favor under this full moon, especially if you feel like you've been struggling or fighting. But take active steps to meet your commitments or to demonstrate maturity around whatever events might come up right now. That will work in your favor. You can also seek out a mentor, or you can step into kind of a mentoring position in the days right around the upcoming full moon in Taurus. Okay, and I believe that is, I'm going to double check because I didn't write it here. I believe that's the 23rd, and that we're having our broadcast on the 22nd, but let me confirm those dates. So November. Yes, the full moon is the 23rd, and then we'll have our full moon releasing practice in the Sidereal Insights Astrology Facebook group the day before on the 22nd, I believe. Let me make sure. Is that Thanksgiving? Oh, it is. That's on Thanksgiving. Maybe we'll do it the day before. I'll let y'all know. We'll kind of take a survey in the group and see how folks feel about that. Anyway, it is a holiday here in the United States. So if you live here in the US, that might be something to keep in mind. On the 24th, so a couple days after the full moon, we have Neptune stationing direct. Finally, Neptune's been retrograde for about 5 months. This particularly is felt by folks who have Pisces sun or Pisces rising sign. But you can also check your sidereal natal chart for your Neptune placement for whatever house and sign Neptune is in your natal chart, and for where Aquarius is in your natal chart, because even if you don't have Pisces Sun or Pisces Rising, you will feel Neptune's return to direct motion in those houses most strongly. Coming up on the 26th, so this is when to put a gold star on in your planner. The 26th is what we consider the luckiest day of the year. The Sun and Jupiter are going to conjoin that day. It's generally a lovely day for most everyone, other aspects notwithstanding, and this year we have a square between Mercury and Mars, so there may be a little bit of tension there to be aware of, but we do have Sun conjunct Jupiter coming up on the 26th, and that's when you'll want to put a pin in. And you want to have a look too at your sidereal natal chart for planets or points at 8 degrees or 9 degrees of Scorpio, or of one of the other two water signs, Pisces or Cancer. Now, there may be a little bit of tension that day, like I said. Egos may run a little high. However, it should be generally a good day overall, and especially good for folks who have a planet or point at that degree, or at that degree of one of the water signs, or for folks who have Sun in Leo, or excuse me, born with Sun in Leo, or even for Sagittarius. That could be a particularly good day when you have your ruler conjunct the Sun. Then just after, the very next day on the 27th, this is a bonus lucky day for readers who have Gemini or Virgo Sun or rising sign. What we're going to see then on the 27th is Jupiter reconjoining retrograde Mercury. Normally, this happens once a year when we have Mercury and Jupiter conjunct, but the way that Mercury's final retrograde of the year is falling, we're going to get this 3 times in a row. So definitely pay attention if you have Gemini or Virgo Sun or rising sign in your chart, or if Mercury is strongly aspected in your chart. These could be important dates for you. We had our first one already. Our second conjunction between retrograde Mercury and Jupiter is coming up on the 27th. And then this will happen again one more time after Mercury returns to direct motion in December. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But these are pretty special days when Jupiter conjoins the ruler of your ascendant or the ruler of your sun. Those are always days you want to pay attention to. So make a note of that if you have Gemini or Virgo Sun or rising. The 27th is a nice day. And actually what you may notice is a common theme, connects all 3 of these days that we're going to have in sequence of Mercury and Jupiter conjunct through November and December. So keep that in mind. If you are directly affected, try and think back to the last one and pay attention to what happens to you near the 27th, because that could give you clues as to what will happen coming up when they conjoin again for the 3rd and final time in December. And all readers will want to check their sidereal natal chart for planets or points at either 9 or 10 degrees of Scorpio, like we said. That's also where Mercury and Jupiter and the Sun are going to connect over those 2 days in late November. Now, keep in mind, this is just the potential. You have to act in order to take advantage of the energies involved with these transits. So actions taken in that stretch of 2 days, the 26th and 27th, are likely to be rewarded in multiple ways. And so I would encourage you to plan to do something special for the 26th and 27th. Now, something new to think about. I wanted to toss this in there. I want you to be considering well in advance what major initiation you'd like to make early 2019. When we have the support of every planet in the solar system in direct motion all at one time. We'll have a period of several weeks. I'll be talking about that a little more in depth as we get closer to that stretch. But this is specific to, you could even use it to make your New Year's resolution. If you do make a New Year's resolution or you're planning on one, I would say don't start it until after that very first new moon of the year, January 6th and January 7th, when Uranus goes direct. After January 7th, we'll have all the planets in the solar system in direct motion at one time, right after a new moon. And that would be the perfect time to make an initiation on something that is important to you. So be thinking ahead about what that might be, or what your New Year's resolution might be make your plans to really tuck into that New Year's resolution about a week after the New Year starts. Okay, now if you haven't read up on the November overview and short reports at the website, I encourage you to do so. Read for your sun and your rising sign. You can also read the full horoscopes by sign for your sun and rising sign to get a strong picture of what's coming for the rest of the month of November. We do have the December overview ready. Unfortunately, we can't post it yet to the website, so stay tuned for an update on that. We're running into some issues with the pending update to Gutenberg, but hopefully I'll have those out of the way within not too much time, but I will keep you posted on that. And that actually, you can read both those horoscopes at mystickphysick.com/sidereal-monthly-horoscopes. There's a link right there, and I'll include these in the video description as well. And then also new for this year, while you're at the website, check out the new Ultimate Astrological Planners that we released. There's an academic version now. We also have some fun add-ons and accessories that you can use to make your planner even more useful. We have it available in disc-bound formats, in printable refills. If you have a planner system that you already love, you can check those out at mystickphysick.com/2019. And while you're there, definitely check out, we'll have some deals for you coming up on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and you'll want to stay tuned and visit the website so that you can see what those are all about as well. And please like and share the broadcast, especially if you feel that you got benefit out of it. If you know someone else who might get benefit as well, I invite you, like and share the broadcast, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching.